She lifted a spoonful of chicken soup and took a sip. The taste stopped her cold. Memories started coming back one after another. Her father sitting by her hospital bed, never leaving her side. That bowl of soup during the most exhausting stretch of her studies. The one that made everything feel bearable. The look on her father's face the day she passed her teaching certification. By the time she came back to herself, her face was wet with tears. She remembered what Lee Jun had said when he dropped off the soup. One sip and she would definitely call him. She picked up the phone right away. Then the doorbell rang. He had to hang up and answer the door. Standing outside was a man in full protective gear. Incheon asked if he was there for the Hornets. He nodded. She brought him upstairs. He was visibly nervous, but he pushed through it and got the job done. Incheon then asked if he could also take down a tree in the yard while he was at it. While he worked, she stood nearby, telling him what a great job he was doing. Then Lee Jun called. The man's hands slowed for just a second. He heard them agree on a place to meet. Something that felt like anger rose up in him without warning. He put all of it into the next swing, but the tree came down at the wrong angle. It was heading straight for where Incheon was standing. He lunged forward and pulled her out of the way, and in doing so, gave himself away. It was JQ. He tried to explain that he had just happened to overhear things, but Incheon wanted space from him. She pressed the payment into his hand and walked away. The tension between them had started a few nights earlier. JQ had convinced himself that Incheon had feelings for him. He was waiting for something to happen. Then he realized she had simply remembered who he was. A year ago, Incheon had been drinking alone at a restaurant. JQ happened to be there. When she started to lose her footing, he caught her. They exchanged a few words. So that day Incheon had worn the same outfit on purpose. But everything she had been through made it impossible for her to trust a student's parent again. Just as she was about to leave, JQ asked her something. He wanted to know if that night had been intentional or just an accident. What had actually happened was that Incheon, drunk, had wandered into the street. She stepped off the curb and nearly got hit by a truck. JQ had been following behind her out of concern. He got there just in time to pull her back. Incheon had no interest in accepting his concern. She made it clear she wanted distance between them. JQ refused to walk away. He kept finding new ways to get close to her. The day Lee Jun and Incheon met up, JQ positioned himself nearby and listened in. He couldn't even explain to himself why he was doing it. The chicken soup Lee Jun had brought came from a request made by Incheon's own parents. Years ago when Incheon was falsely accused, she had gathered evidence and tried to take the case to court. But her mother was a public figure. She didn't want the story getting out and damaging her reputation. Even her father hadn't stood by her. That was what drove Incheon to leave Seoul. Now her parents regretted it. They had reached out to Lee Jun and asked him to reopen the case, because Lee Jun had another role beyond just knowing the family. He was a lawyer.